I really wanted to talk to you about scripting because so many of your videos are like, here's a phrase you can use, here's a thing you can do. And those are the things that I personally have always found the most helpful in your work, but also in any kind of work.
Right.
I don't know if you know, we had on the podcast before Heather Schumacher, who's
Mm-hmm.
okay not to share. And her book is littered with these, like, her book was the first one I found where I was like, end of every chapter has these, like, here's some phrases to use. It's like, oh, this is what's been missing from so many things where people can talk about a behavior thing or can say like, oh, you should change this, you should make accommodations here. But a script and a sentence and a phrase is so immediately like, I can go do that tomorrow. I can go do that this afternoon. And I just love that kind of power of scripting. And so I wondered, maybe we can start with that. So was the scripting stuff something that you started working? You said you needed to work with parents initially. Was scripts where you started with them, or is that something that you kind of found as a tool later on?
I think I'm probably a lot like you in that I like having something concrete and tangible. And there were people who were like, oh, you just need to calm down as a parent. And then the question was, how? Like, how do you
Mm.
do that? And then our regular language tends to be just frustration language, right? Like, how many times do I have to tell you that? What were you thinking when you did that? And so I did it for me personally. I like having the script to fall back on because you're busy as parents. And so to
Mhm.
think like, okay, what is the 8-step action plan? Well, I don't have an
Yeah.
8-step action plan. I sit down and instead of yelling, I ask questions. Okay, I can do that anywhere. And so I think, Lewis, I'm a little bit like you in that, well, I won't lump you in. I'm just a dude, right? And it's like, tell me what to tell my wife, right? Like when she's upset, instead of saying, there's no need to be upset, you're just overreacting. Instead, if I could give guys a phrase and say, well, of course you're frustrated because you're married to me and we have 3 kids. Like that's a great script. Of course you're
Yeah.
frustrated. So, so you have every right to be frustrated. Listen, if you want to talk and share something with me, I'd love to listen. I don't have to fix it, but I'd love to listen, preferably at halftime. I'm kidding, but sometimes those scripts help as well. But yeah, that I
Yeah.
kind of fell. I don't know if I fell into it. I think it's my own. I give advice that I give to myself.